Okay, I'm now at the DBA booth. DBA has been making brakes in Australia for a very long time, and of course they're selling them over here too. I've used DBA rotors on my GTO before when I go to track days, so we're going to talk about brakes a little bit here. So I'm talking to Matt Roskey now, he works for DBA. So the thing that makes the DBA rotor a little innovative is the Kangaroo paw technology. So can you explain just a little bit what the Kangaroo paw is all about?
Yeah, so it's a pillar and post style vent structure with some diamond shaped 144 throughout the whole internal casting. What it does is it gives it a lot more rigidity under the very hard clamping that our performance guys like.
Does this system help to draw air through the rotor better than a conventional like vented system would?
Yeah, so it will suck it in, it'll grab more heat as the air bounces off the pillars and then sheds it back out.
So I've always known you guys to do rotors, and the thing I especially like about the track day rotors is you've got the painted stripes on there so you can see just how hot the rotor is getting. But now you guys have moved into the area of making pads as well, so let's talk about that for a second. So what do we got right here?
So this is our street performance pad. So it's that daily driver, quiet, very low dusting, but someone that wants a little bit more than what their car would have from the factory. So the guy gets a little more aggressive on the street driving, maybe does his street light to street light fun. It's a great pad that'll hold up for you in those environments.
So you get a little more clamping force than OE without making all the extra dust.
All the dust and noise and the annoying side of it.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask is because I'm sure a lot of people do know that when you go to the track, you've got race-specific pads that you put on for that extra clamping force that it can handle the heat, but you don't want to run a race pad on the street. So does the same thing follow true for a rotor, or is a rotor just a rotor and you use whatever rotor you want to use?
No, you can, if you're kind of like developing your driving skills, use any rotor, but as you start progressing, getting faster and more abusive, you do want to get into some of the higher grade materials, the high carbon, our heat treated version. So there is a benefit as you get faster, you do want to start moving up the lineup that we offer.
So these are the entry series rotors right here, the 3000 and the street pads. Let's walk over here and let's look at the higher end stuff. So what we're looking at right here is the 4000 series rotor, and that's noted by the gold coloring too. That's what the 4000s all get?
Gold and black.
Gold and black.
Yeah, the gold would be drilled and slotted version. Black would be a slotted only.
Okay, and this is a step up over the standard brake because you get the slotting, or does it have a different metal composition as well?
So our 4000 does get a different metal composition. It is a high carbon metal as opposed to our street, which is a gray cast iron metal.
Okay.
You also get the heat treatment applied to it, so it handles heat, it's de-stressed, and just all around better for abusive environments.
But then on the other side here is the top of the line, the 5000 series. So let's take a look at that quick. Okay, now we're looking at the 5000 series rotor, which is black versus the gold, but you can also see these extra bolt holes right here and these nuts, and then you got the paint stripes here so you can see the paint for the temperature. So what is the difference between a 5000 and a 4000?
The biggest and most main difference is the aluminum bell or hat in the middle. So the outside ring of the 5 and the 4000 series are identical. Same materials, same treatments, same pillar vein. It's just you get the aluminum grade hat in the center.
Now, how much of an advantage does that give you over a 4000 series in terms of weight?
In weight, probably on the average rotor, it's 3 to 5 pounds weight savings per corner, which is amplified since it is that rotational mass at the end.
Right. I've said it in the past, for every pound of rotational force you can take off of a system, it's the equivalent of taking 3 to 4 pounds off of the car. So the lighter you can make the brakes, even if you step up and go to bigger brakes, it makes the suspension work better, it makes the tires easier to control. Everything is benefited by going to a lighter system, so this is a brilliant thing. But we've also got the red race series pads here, so talk about the race pads now.
Yeah, so the race pads, they are designed to be on track use only. They will not do well in the street. And the big problem is with race pads, you need to build the heat into them for them to work correctly. So essentially you're just taking your brake pad range and shifting the whole time scale up. So you got to build more, but you get the higher end for the high braking speed you see on a motorsports environment.
Okay. So if I'm at the track, what would be some of the indications that the brake system I've got isn't up to snuff and I need to step it up?
One of the big things you'll see is brake fade. And there's two different kinds of brake fade. One is you get a soft pedal, which tends to be more hydraulic. Your fluid's boiling, you need to replace it. The other thing is you start getting a rock hard pedal, but you're not stopping, or you feel like you're just pushing through a corner. You're overheating your pad, and that's kind of the indication, like, yes, I need to either step up a race pad or get into a full race setup.
So if the pedal's to the floor, your fluid's boiling. If you're pushing it and nothing's happening, then you need to step up.
You've overheated the pads. You're gonna have to come in, let everything cool back down before you can go back out again.
Okay, well that's good to know. Now I was having a conversation with Matt yesterday because I know a lot of guys, especially with the GTOs, they want to run the 14-inch Camaro SS rotors to get the biggest rotor possible underneath. And I was asking him, well, is there any way to get the hat for a GTO but on the 14-inch rotor? So we're going to talk about that and see if that might be possible to do someday.
Yeah.
I think there would be a market for that.
A big thing, bigger rotor and still keep it lighter. I mean,
yeah, exactly. So if you can keep the weight of a 12.6-inch rotor but have a 14-inch rotor,
it's a perfect setup.
Perfect setup. So we're going to see if we can make that happen. So if I want to buy DBA parts, where should I be looking?
Some of our great distributors would be Tire Rack, Summit Racing, KNS Brakes, buybrakes.com, and if you're a wholesaler, Turn 14 Distribution's great wholesaler of ours that gets the product out to all performance speed shops across the country.
Definitely check DBA out, dbausa.com here in the States. And it isn't just Holdens, it isn't just Pontiacs, they make them for all different kinds of cars, so no matter what you're driving, check them out.